For more on this, I'm joined by Bulent Aliriza, Director and Senior Associate of the Turkey Project and a Center for Strategic and International Studies. Thank you very much and welcome to Biz Asia America. Let me start. Today has been a very eventful day, 2 weeks in the making. Give us your thoughts on what you're thinking.
Well, the police intervened in Taksim Square, which is next to the park that you mentioned in the introduction, and what the government wants to do, and the Prime Minister reiterated that today in his speech in Parliament, is to raise it to the ground and proceed with the implementation of the project that he says will make Istanbul a better place. That's resisted by the environmentalists who've been joined by all sorts of other people, and the situation is really untenable. Either the Prime Minister will force the police to go into the park and clear it of the demonstrators with all its implications, including additional deaths. 4 people have died so far, or he'll back down. And it doesn't look as if the Prime Minister is going to back down.
The media, and you mentioned the park issue about redeveloping the park. We were talking earlier. You know, I have a hard time believing that it's just about a development project. Obviously, there's a lot of pent-up discontent. Tell us a bit more about what you're hearing from the ground there.
Well, the Prime Minister has been in power for 10.5 years. It's a long time. Some of these kids who were in their 20s were in high school when the Prime Minister was elected. And they, on the whole, most of them are apolitical. Many of them have never voted in their lives. They didn't care about the Prime Minister winning 3 successive elections or even changing the system to a presidential one, because he hopes to be the president of the country and have more powers.
Is it as simple as just them wanting change?
It's generational. Change for the better from their point of view is the government to stop interfering in their lives. They think that Mr. Erdogan, having been buoyed by 3 successive elections, is interfering in every aspect of life, how many children women should have, whether people can be allowed to drink, and the suspicion that this party, which has its roots in the Islamist movement, is out to turn Turkey into an Islamist country. All these built up and then burst over the park.
I know our producer, Alex, is putting up video from earlier today to some of the live pictures that we've been getting throughout the day from the news feeds. You know, as the world watches this, is what's happening in Turkey, it has to be on the mind of economists and people who are watching these videos for a country that has experienced so much optimism and so much success over the past several years as we've watched this global economy recover. This has got to be a great PR challenge for Turkey, does it not?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, it's a major PR hit. This we're talking about a city that wanted to be a new financial center to rival other financial centers around the world. It wanted to host the Olympics in 2020. I mean, all these are now are out of the window. And beyond that, Turkey sustains its trade and current account deficits with short-term funds that have been flowing into the Turkish stock market and into government bonds. And the kind of images that we saw are going to frighten investors.
I'm going to get right to the point. Turkey is a friend of the United States. You mentioned the leaders were just here in Washington, D.C., meeting with the president. Is that an issue?
Absolutely. The White House put out a statement tonight expressing concern. It's harsher in tone, and the fact that both Secretary Kerry and Vice President Biden have spoken makes it very likely that if there are fatalities, additional fatalities, then the president himself might intervene in a similar vein to what he did when Mubarak, his former ally, was in trouble.
I'm sure you're speaking to your friends and colleagues who are on the ground there in Istanbul. What are you fearful most about this entire situation and how it might end?
A very bloody denouement where the police actually intervene and a lot of people get killed. You know, the most important thing is to avoid the loss of life. Second is the Prime Minister needs to finally accept that there is a reverse gear on his car. It's always been forward, forward, forward. But now he's run into resistance. Instead of crashing through it, he should actually talk to these people. There are talks scheduled for tomorrow. Hopefully there'll be a consensus, a compromise achieved. But I'm not optimistic.
Well, you may not be optimistic, but I think the world is hoping for a peaceful resolution to all this. Bulent Aliriza, Director and Senior Associate of the Turkey Project and the Center for Strategic International Studies. Thank you very much.
Thank you.